so it just gives you a feel. Did you see that and hear that this time? I'm never sure if you can see and hear. Can you give
yes.
me some? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So this place is like actually a little bit close to my heart, because when I first started the business, I hadn't actually launched it yet. It was just in the very early stages when we were putting things together. I came to Cyprus, and this hotel in those days was called the Meridien. And I really wanted to come and see it because it was the only Thalassotherapy resort in Cyprus. So I came here and I did some thalasso treatments. They had these thalasso pools outside. And I remember being in these thalasso pools, and I felt like I was having some kind of metaphysical experience. No joke, I was so relaxed. It was so beautiful. I felt like I'd left my body and I was just like flying around. It was amazing. And I felt, it just felt amazing. So they closed the hotel for it. It's no longer the Meridien, and they closed it and they redid it all because it was a little bit tired at the time, but the spa was always excellent. And they reopened it a few years ago. Bless them, they've invested so much, and then COVID happened. So then they had to close it again, and now they've reopened it. And they've kept that Thalasso concept, which I was delighted about. So it isn't like a boutique, small, cute hotel. It's big, you can see from the video, but you don't feel it when you're here. They've kindly put us in the adults wing because there's families that they kind of separate us all. Because when I've checked in, Paris said, "I want to put you in the adults wing." I was like, "Oh, thank you." Not that I didn't like children, but I just don't want any more noise. So yeah, that's where I am. So it gives you a little bit of a feel with, without me walking around the place with the computer, which I think would be so great actually right now. So anyway, I just want to welcome you. Thank you for being with us this evening, and I hope you've all had a great couple of weeks. And I want to thank you, the people who sent me birthday messages. It was my birthday last week, so that's why we didn't do the session. And I had a lovely day. I had just arrived in Cyprus. And I also want to thank those of you who've sent me messages around encouraging us to keep going through this unstable travel situation that we're in. I've got to say I've had to use all my reserves of patience and stress management techniques over the last couple of weeks to get through what seems to be like a never-ending story, to be honest. But I always come back to this whole sense of gratitude as my saving grace. So when I'm having a really bad day, I just say, okay, I've got to be grateful for everything I have. I've got to be grateful for the small things that happen each day. I'm certainly very grateful for being here and having the ability to do that. And it just kind of takes your mind off your problems. So I am super grateful to be here today in this island where my parents came from and at this wonderful resort. And I'm grateful that you're all here to be with us today. So it's been a couple of things I just want to catch up with you on. I don't know, I think a lot of you came to the Ananda session with Sandeep a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned some YouTube videos that he had on joint mobility, and I've posted them in the yoga group. Plus, there was a message on the forum left by a wonderful lady in our community called Julie Hall, who offered to share some sun salutation modification sequences for anyone who has, as she calls them, dodgy knees. And she put her email address on that. So if anyone is interested in that, please email her. And I'm sure she will share that with you. And that's what we're all about, this community, kind of just helping and sharing it with each other. So if you missed that message, I just wanted to make you aware of that. I also posted some studies in the nutrition group about how gut health really is helping keep our immunity high. And this is some new studies that are happening right now. It's very interesting findings. So I've got a link to those in the nutrition group if you want to have a look at those. A couple of things before we get going. We had our first essential oils workshop with Laura, where she focused on 5 specific oils. I know some of you were there. and she covered the physical and emotional benefits of them. And we've had great feedback from that. She's also holding a second workshop on Tuesday. Unfortunately, it's probably too late now to get you the oils in time, the taster pack in time before the event on Tuesday. But if you want to book a place on either of them, you can, and we can send you the recording and she'll send you the taster pack so you can kind of do that experience yourself. And then this morning, we also had the first in Jordan's series of masterclasses on energy centers. And we focused on the root energy center or chakra, the root chakra, which was all around the hips and the lower body. So he had us moving pretty well with our lower body and breathing into that part. And so he gave us an excellent class. So if you missed that, you can also purchase it and get the recording. And then he's got a series. It's all up on the website. All the events are up there on the website, so you can look at those. So there's me talking a million miles an hour. Today, we're here to talk about thalassotherapy. And it so happens this week, by chance, it was International Oceans Day. So it's a real fitting time, I think, to discuss and celebrate the magnificence of our oceans and the seawater and how we can use that seawater for our benefit. So I'm going to ask Paris, who's sitting over here, to scoot over and sit next to me here. And let me just bring him up. Say hi, Paris.
Good evening, everyone.
So it's, can you see him? I'm going to move over a little
Yes.
bit. Yeah, good.
Hello.
Good.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, hello.
I'm so pleased that Paris is here. And Paris is a real, I don't know if anyone looked at his bio, but he's a real professional with regards to building and running spas, and he knows all about thalassotherapy. So I've got lots of questions for him, and I want to start, Paris, by asking you, what's so special about thalassotherapy?
First of all, I would like to say good evening to everyone. Stella, thank you very much for this interview, and it's our pleasure to welcome you in Parklane.
Thank you.
So what is special about thalassotherapy? Actually, what is thalassotherapy? Thalassa, means it comes from the Greek word sea. So thalassa actually means sea, and therapy is from cure. So actually, it's cure through seawater. So thalassotherapy actually means cure through seawater. It's special because it's going back to centuries from the ancient Greeks and Romans. Even Hippocrates mentions about the healing power of seawater. They have noticed, even the fishermen, that when they collect the nets and they had scars, that they can be healed quicker through the seawater. It evolved in the 19th century, especially in France. A lot of studies came up. It was systematically used in the thalassotherapy centers, and it used the healing power of the seawater for curing and for medical reasons. Okay. So actually, thalassotherapy is the use of systematic use of seawater and the environment of the sea, even the air, the algae, the mud, the sand, anything has to do with the sea.
Yeah, and Paris and I were chatting about that earlier, because it seems to have kind of fallen out of favor. Being by the sea, certainly I know in the Victorian times, certainly in England, people would go to the waters to take, by the ocean to breathe the air, and then kind of spas developed, and it all became around touch and a lot driven by product lines as well. That we've forgotten some of nature's resources, and so I think it would be a good time for you to tell us what is the difference with, what is a proper thalasotherapy spa? Because I was saying to Paris that there's a lot of hotels that call themselves thalasso spa, and they're not really thalasso spas, they just use a word. So if you're ever interested in going to thalasso spa or having a thalasso treatment, he's going to tell you what to look out for now.
But in order to call your spa thalassotherapy spa, with simple words, you need to be on the water. So you have to be maximum 1,000 meters from the sea. Why is this? Because we actually have a pipeline into the sea. We collect pure seawater 45 meters below the surface of the sea. So we avoid the surface pollution. It's a continuous process 24/7. We clean the actual seawater, we heat it up, and we use it for our treatments. That's why if you want to call your spa like a thalassotherapy center, you need to be very, very close and actually use the water from the sea.
From the sea and clean it as it comes out. So
Exactly.
there's a real process around it to be an accredited thalassotherapy spa. And I know, Francois, this is big in France, right? So the French are really into thalasso treatments, and it's almost like their annual maintenance, isn't it, to go to thalasso spa? A lot of them. Do you want to say something about that?
They actually what we call des cures, which is not necessarily thalasso, but it's very, very widely used in France for rheumatism, for bronchitis, from all sorts of other things. But thalasso is also very popular in France, yes.
Yeah. So anyway, it's my mission to make it big in the EU because I think it's just such a fantastic thing. Now, Paris, maybe talk to us a little bit about why thalasso is so therapeutic, because there is, I remember reading this years ago and thinking, wow, I mean, it blew my mind that the plasma of seawater is the same as the plasma of the human body, like the structure of the plasma. So we all did originally come from water, obviously, you know, it's just fascinating. But maybe expand on that.
There was a study in 1960 from a French doctor, Mr. Quindon, that actually proved that it's surprisingly close. The water and minerals and the vitamins in seawater is surprisingly identical, almost close to the blood plasma. So in the seawater has vitamins and minerals that when you go into a proper thalassotherapy spa and you go into a proper thalassotherapy pool, which is from 34 to 30 degrees warm, and you get your skin pores open, all these elements and minerals have been absorbed very easily under the skin, into the cells. So all these minerals like potassium, calcium, magnesium, they're essential for our well-being. And calcium is really good for the bones, for the heart, for everything. So it goes directly where all the minerals where we need them. So I will share an example of kind of a study we had. A gentleman did a rehabilitation exercise for his knee in two different pools. So one was pure water, the other one was seawater. The gentleman did rehabilitation in a knee injury in the pool was 3 times quicker in time, his rehabilitation, compared to normal water.
Wow.
And studies showed that. So it's purely that the seawater is so close to our blood plasma, and by using warm seawater, we get it into the skin very easily.
And our body absorbs what it needs.
Exactly.
And I think that's the key. I think that's why I had my out-of-body experience when I was in the thalasso forms all those years ago, because it was like the magnesium. My body was taking that magnesium in, which I really must have needed at the time. I think I always need magnesium, to be honest. I actually take magnesium, but that's why I feel when I'm around the sea and I'm in the sea, it is just it makes me feel so much more relaxed. It's like the pain go, and sleep. I mean, my sleep improves tremendously from that. There's a question here: is the absorption through the skin better than eating the minerals in food? Oh, that's a good question. I would say probably both. I mean, I think food is good, but I think absorption through the skin, it probably without knowing 100%, I'm just using my common sense here, but I would imagine it's coming through into your blood and through your skin much quicker than absorption through food. But yeah, it's very good for you.
Just to share also something, as it's a nice data to share with everyone.
Yeah.
I was reading about it. No, algae has 100,000 times more minerals than seawater. Even algae, it's so rich in minerals. I was talking about it's a tremendous numbers, 100,000 times more minerals than the seawater. So Thalassotherapy, it's not only seawater, it's marine algae, it's marine mud, which is so beneficial, and Kelly will share more information about later on.
Yeah.
So it's the whole marine kingdom. I think it's so beneficial to.
Algae was the most nutritious or the best product for a human to take in whatever way that there is, because of what you say. So thalassotherapy is more than just seawater, as you say. It's all the byproducts of the.
We do, for example, for us, Thalassotherapy Spa, it's not only the sequence and Thalassotherapy program with different pools that I will explain later on. We also have hydrobaths with seawater that we are adding products. We have the sea shower jet. We have the body scrubs, the wraps with marine mud. So it's a complete range to fill the Thalassotherapy concept.
Right. Okay. So tell us about like your process here with the pools, or a typical thalassotherapy process that you would go.
I will share the process. We have the program, we have the main program we have in Parklane. It's a sequence of 3 different seawater pools. So each pool has a different temperature. The first pool is with air bubbles. It's more on the relaxing side, starting from 34 degrees warm. We're going, it's 15 minutes duration. So we're going to the second step, which is the high salinity. It's a high concentration of salt. It's 7 times more the density than seawater. It's like the Dead Sea, so it's a floating pool. So when you go in immediately, your body will float. It's obviously perfect for detoxification because of the phenomenon of osmosis as well.
So hang on, let me stop you there. Explain that more. So why is it good for detoxification?
You have, it's like the phenomenon of osmosis when you have 2 bottles of water and you add salt on this bottle, and then you connect it will connect, so the salinity at the end of the day will be the same. So it helps us to get out of the body.
Okay.
It's a phenomenon of osmosis.
Osmosis phenomenon. Okay. So through osmosis, the phenomenon of osmosis, through this high salinity, and what does that do for you? It detoxifies you?
Yes.
Amongst what else?
It's very also extremely helpful for muscle relaxation. Because you're actually floating.
Okay.
And it's good for psoriasis.
Okay. So that high salinity is good for psoriasis, skin complaints.
Yes.
Okay.
And also that's the second step. So the third step of the program, it's a pure seawater pool with hydro massages. You can have a hydro massage from your neck down to your feet. So the third one is mainly for muscle relaxation. So you're going from 34 to 32 and finishing to 29.
Okay.
Degrees.
So you start hot and then you go
cold, and then we finish with 10 minutes in steam room or sauna. So we restore the body temperature back to the normal levels. So we have this up and down, which is really good for blood circulation as well. Okay. So this is a complete supervised program. It's a treatment. It's not just pools to swim. It's a treatment. And this is one part of the thalassotherapy concept. We do have the hydrobath, the sea shower jet, and all the dry treatments with like body scrubs and wraps to complete the thalassotherapy concept.
And who would this be good for? Who would this good for? I mean, it's good for everyone, but any specific complaints, like people who come in to see you, who would you steer towards?
We do have a lot of guests coming because they have chronic muscle or arthrosis issues. Good for arthritis. People they have chronic back problems. We had a lot of guests coming with psoriasis. Actually, we've seen through the days and weeks that actually helped them a lot. And is open to anyone that wants to relax and prepare the body before another treatment. Okay. So apart from all the other benefits, if you have a thalassotherapy, your skin will be relaxed and soft. The pores will be open. So if you have a facial or any other treatment, all the elements of the treatment will be absorbed easier. So it's a nice way to start your spa journey with thalassotherapy and finish with another treatment.
With another treatment. That's interesting you say that, because a lot of the time when you go into the sea, it dries up your skin. Like your skin feels like very salty and dry. So what's the difference, would you say?
The difference, you actually feel a bit salty, but because you're from different pools and you finish going to a wet environment with the steam room, you don't get this dry effect.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's just the combination of everything.
Exactly.
And the level of the heated pools, as you say. So I've really got into cold water recently, part of my whole health journey. So if I was to go into the sea into the UK, which I don't think I'm brave enough to do at this point, but maybe I will as I continue, and swim around there, how is it a different experience to like a cold water, basically sea water versus the, I mean, you mentioned the pores open.
Yes.
That's the main thing.
It's the main thing also. It's the difference in temperature that we have blood circulation as well, that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
But going into a warm sea water from 34 to 30, 29 degrees warm, it helps us to soften the skin, open the pores, and get all the elements.
Minerals in.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. And which are the main? We covered calcium and magnesium.
Potassium.
What does potassium do?
All the minerals, they are good in certain functions of the body, and it can be good for the brain, it can be good for the bones, it can be good for the muscle. It can be always an example we give is calcium is good for the bones and the muscle. Potassium is magnesium is very good for the muscles.
Okay.
And it helps us to have like a healthy body and healthy functions.
So it's all together, basically. It's a holistic experience. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. So let's talk about has anyone got any questions in the meantime? Feel free if you have. No? You can unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself and that Chelly.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Lorraine here.
Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, how are you? I'm just wondering about when you talk about cleaning the seawater, the process of cleaning the seawater, what exactly do you mean? I mean, what are you taking out of the water? I'm just interested in that.
Mm-hmm. By having a pipeline in the sea, it's cleaning from pieces of sand or something that we're cleaning with filters. It's just a filtering system to make sure that the water coming to the spa is clean. It's pure seawater. There's no sand, there's no dirt, there's no small of anything.
Okay.
Seaweed, of course.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes.
And you have to take a number of meters below surface, right? So it means it's not as polluted as it would be from the surface. Right?
We are taking 45 meters deep, so we make sure we avoid the surface pollution.
Okay.
And can I ask?
Sure.
The process of filtering would not involve any chemicals, obviously.
No, it's purely filtered with sand, with pure sand. The filters, there's no chemicals involved.
When you say sand, I don't understand. You put the filters have sand in them, or?
It's the huge filters that we have. We call it the pool filters. It's actually huge. One of the filters I can go in. So big.
Yeah.
And we use different levels of sand.
Okay.
So the water passes from the sand, whatever it
stays within the sand. Yeah. Okay, so it's purely natural. And this is what I was going to say to you. Like, if you're ever looking to go to a Thalasso spa, really ask these questions. You know, what surface are you filtering the water? Is it coming from 2 meters below? Is it, you know, all those questions? Because some naughty hotels, they just put a bit of seawater in a pool. They call it a Thalasso, and you won't get that therapeutic benefit as you would from somewhere like this, it's quite important to know that. Has anyone got any other questions before we carry on?
What products are
Yes. Does your filtering get rid of microplastics?
Might does it get rid of
Microplastics, you know those little
yes
plastics?
I'm sure it does. I'm not a technician to answer it, but what we can we can say there is a process that we have to do water checks from approved institute every week. So yes, there is every week a water test. So to make sure that our water is at proper level, there is no high levels of the microorganisms. So
Thank you.
Okay, so let's start talking a little bit about the byproducts of the sea and the marine therapy, so to speak. So we want to get Kaylee in here, or we're gonna swap Paris for Kaylee. So Kaylee's coming over.
Thank you, Paris. Thank you.
He'll be back, don't worry. Also, we're getting back, so bye. So Kaylee, I'm bringing Kaylee in because Kaylee's like master therapist. Kaylee's lived in Cyprus for how many years?
15.
15 years. So, but she's from London, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm from Southeast London.
So Kaylee actually is a master therapist with the byproducts of the sea, so the marine products. So you want to just talk us through that and tell us what kind of treatments we can use and what they're for and why people have them.
Okay. So the brand that we use to complement the thalassotherapy that we have is Thalgo. This is a French brand. It's based 100% on algae. We have the 3 main algae in there, the laminaria, the fucus, and the lithianium. And we have the scrubs, the wraps, our facials, everything is based on the algae.
Okay.
We continue the preparation of the skin into treatment as well. So from our thalassotherapy, if I was recommending a program for my client, we would start with a thalassotherapy and then we would go on to, say, scrub to remove the rest of the dead skin cells, and then go into treatment stage where we would go on to, say, the micronized marine algae wrap, which is 100% algae, to continue detoxification, skin conditions, psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis, and it's also refining, detoxifying.
So because I've had these wraps in my time, and has anyone else had these wraps? I'm sure some people have had these wraps. Yeah, I mean they're incredible, and I think if you're feeling a little bit under the weather, they totally boost you up. But you put this kind of mud stuff on you.
It's a very thick paste. Yes. With Thalgo, we also prepare the skin with a plasma gel, which is also based on algae, to open the pores even more. So when we put the algae on, it helps to penetrate even more.
Okay.
And then we put the heat.
You put the heat on, and then you leave it on for like 20-30 minutes. Right?
Yeah.
And then you drift off. You have your out-of-body experience again. But then you and whilst you're doing that, it's detoxifying. Your toxins are coming, pouring out the toxins.
Yeah. Okay. You'll find that some clients, they're quite thirsty after this treatment. Or they're all, the toxins are already leaving their body.
Okay. And how often should you, like, if someone comes here and just does one of those, is that enough to detoxify? Do you need more? How often should you do it?
If I did have a client here that was here for like 2 weeks, I would say maybe every 3 days.
Okay.
Do it. If it was a client that had a skin condition, I would just localize it.
Okay.
Because you can use it on the face as well.
Oh, you can use it on the face, just for skin issues.
Yeah.
Is it good for dry skin?
Yeah, because you're detoxifying as well. It's got the nutrients in there from the algae, and especially now, I was saying to Stella as well, a lot of the ladies that I have now have got so many toxins from the facial masks. There's such a buildup of toxins. I have ladies that have got cysts around their jawline, and because if you're in an office environment, they're wearing
a mask all the time. Oh gosh, yeah.
So I'm always recommending my clients to do a very clean approach of a night before they sleep, to completely rid of any toxin buildup around this area.
Okay, so if you're wearing masks a lot, this is a general tip. Make sure you clean your skin really well around, and especially if you've got makeup on as well, around this area. Kay was telling me earlier. Wow, that's
or even say, like, I know that when you're in an office environment, you want to wear your foundations and everything, but if you can actually change it up for a BB cream or something for those days where you're gonna be wearing a mask 9 hours a day,
your skin isn't breathing.
it's not breathing at all.
So you're using the Falgo product to really help with all of that, and it cleans it up. And
yeah,
it sounds like a bit of a miracle.
Yeah, it's it really helps, especially in different things. Say, like, personally, I have psoriasis.
Yeah.
It really helps when it's in crisis.
Okay.
Thalassotherapy is really helps me out.
It's your go-to. So so if you're doing a thalassotherapy program, you do the pools, and then you would do a scrub.
Yeah.
And then you do the marine wrap. I mean, that's like your three main.
Or you can opt for the mud.
What's the difference between the mud and
the mud? Is our natural. It's natural 100% mud, but you also have to take into account if someone has.
Where's the mud from?
The mud. It's from France.
Okay, yeah, but what is it? So what is it? Is it, where do they get the mud? I don't understand. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It's like Dead Sea mud.
Oh, it's Dead Sea mud.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also have a treatment where we actually mix it with salt for people who don't want to do a scrub. We blend it together.
Okay.
So that's salt and mud.
Okay. And so what's the difference between the mud and the algae?
They are completely. We have to take into consideration that some people, if they have iodine issues, they won't be able to do the MMA.
Okay. So
They won't be able to do the algae, so we opt for mud.
Okay, so mud. And does it give you the same benefits?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little bit different, say, because of the algae, but benefit-wise, yes, it is very nourishing for the skin, the mud as well.
Okay. And is it detoxifying?
It is detoxifying as well because we're using the heat.
Okay.
But we just have to have an option for some people who have thyroid issues. We can't offer them algae.
Algae. Okay. So if you've got thyroid issues, ask about that too, because then you shouldn't be doing the algae for sure. And then people should say that. So I guess if you can't go to Thalasso Spa, if you're not as lucky as me, I'm here right now, what can you do to recreate this whole experience at home?
Okay, I was just gonna. You can find, especially you have if you're going to say something, say in the Holland and Barrett, I don't know, in England, you can do it with Epsom salts. Epsom salts is very detoxifying, and you can also say, I have some guests that they want to localize it as well. You can actually say, like, soak your hair in it. If you have any like dry scalp or psoriasis or anything, you can localize it. Or people that might have it around their elbows or something, you can localize it. Okay. But it's also, you can soak in the bath as well. Okay. It's very detoxifying as well.
Epsom salts is probably the thing to do. That closely mirrors what you get from the seawater. And how about these were just
a few products that I do have, say, like, that I am recommending to clients. This is our plasma gel. You have the MMA, this is they're like sachet. That is exactly what I'm using in the rooms. I have it as sachets, and you can it's kind of like a multitask product. You can mix it with water and use it as a face mask. You can localize it if you have any skin conditions. You can put it in the bath.
Okay.
It's
See that?
it's quite fishy, let's say,
It's
because
fishy.
it's got the algae.
To feel better.
You can find
so this is the algae, what's the l'essential marine,
the
the micronized marine algae. I'll take some photos of this and I'll post it up in the forum afterwards so that you can, if you want to go and have a look at it. But you can get these online. I'm sure you can get these.
Yes, and you can do it here. You can apply, especially if you want to do detox from the masks.
Well, if you want to do mask
Yeah,
detox,
but
you can just do your skin. So you can put it in the bath. You can just use a little bit, mix it with water, put it on
It'll
your.
come like a thick paste,
Okay.
and you just.
So to recreate a thalasso experience at home, you can use this in the bath, or you can use Epsom salts. And then, what would you do for? Is this kind of like your? What would you do for your wrap? What's this?
This is the plasma gel. This is more of a gel. You can still apply this to the skin, but wrap-wise, I would.
You can't really do that. What is a plasma gel?
This one is based on algae as well. This is the preparation for this.
Okay, so this what you would put on.
You put it on before, or you can use it daily, just as a detoxifying. I say like now, I would put that on there and then put my mask on for the day.
Interesting. So you can you put this all over your skin?
All over your body.
Can you put it on daily?
Yeah. It's see-through, so you can't see it. It's very light. It hydrates. It doesn't flake like like some gels.
And does this include all the same minerals that we
Yeah.
talked about earlier?
And this one has got the 100% algae in it as well.
Okay, I'm learning something.
It's just different. It's just different. Like say, multitasking the products.
Okay.
If you have skin conditions, localize it. You can put it through your hair. I do hair mask with this. When psoriasis is playing up, let's say, use it as hair mask, wrap it up, and then wash out.
And
This is a cleansing bar. This is also like a multitask product. You can use it for detoxifying. Recently, I've been selling it mostly for this area, but also teenagers, acne, it's algae, detoxifying.
Okay.
Men that tend to get like spots on them, yeah, like back acne or any impurities, it helps to clear up.
Okay. And is it because we're hearing a lot that it's like detoxifying? When I hear that, I always feel like it dries, but it's nourishing at the same time, isn't it?
You don't. It doesn't need to dry out.
It doesn't dry out the skin, so it nourishes it as well as
it's not
pull out the impurities.
To dry your skin out.
Okay, it's just naturally like that. Very cool. So, if you want a Thalasso experience at home, buy some Parklane products, basically, and some Epsom salts.
Anything that's algae based, if you've got something that's algae based, and like even if you wanted to do a very natural scrub, like say we go back to the natural mud that I use, you can buy natural sea salt, mix it with grapeseed and scrub.
Yeah.
You can.
So you can use this. You can mix it with olive
oil,
and use that as a scrub.
Yeah, it's the strongest scrub, sea salt.
Okay, and it's good.
You can find it like even in the supermarket. We use pure sea salt in our banya.
Yeah,
because it's the most natural.
Yeah, amazing. Wow. Anyone got any questions on these products or algae or anything like that before we move on? No? Good. Paris, do you want to come? Yeah, we're going to swap. Paris coming back now.
Speak about Banya.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to talk about the banya? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one thing they have here, I don't know, has anyone here been to a Russian banya? Has anyone tried that? Does anyone? Okay. Does anyone know what it is? No. Okay. So a Russian banya. So I discovered Russian banyas a couple of years ago, actually in London. Somebody took me to one in London because I think I've told you all before, I did that Wim Hof training, the breath work and the hot and cold stuff, okay? And they took me to this Russian banya to do that training around that. And I became hooked, and I haven't been for a while, obviously, because I've kept them all closed. But it is like almost like a Scandinavian or Finnish kind of sauna experience with a Russian twist. And it's really interesting what they do. And I discovered, I had no idea that they have a banya here. And I was like, why have we got a banya here? It's just like felt a bit weird to me that we have a Russian banya here in Cyprus. But the original owners of the hotel, when they redid the hotel before they've sold it now, were Russian. So they really wanted to have a Russian banya here. So Paris is going to tell us as well, because he's done the banya experience, what that is. And you may want to, I mean, you can probably find them locally as well. I mean, they're not everywhere, but you could look it up. I know there's a couple in London, and they're quite interesting. So it's just something else to learn. But yeah, tell us about the Russian banya.
I just want to share the story, actually. What is Russian banya? And I will share the experience of having my first Russian banya in Moscow, in Russia. So when we had to create the Russian banya in Cyprus, we flew with the previous owner to Moscow. So I experienced the traditional Russian banya. Russian banya, the banya is a sauna, but it was the way of the Russians to socialize through in the winter, because the communists, so they couldn't socialize so easily. So Russian banya is actually a place that the traditional was a place for men and a different place for women.
Okay.
So it was actually a huge saunas that they all go in, and then they, after like 10-15 minutes, they go into a very, very cold plunge pool, or they have these buckets, the wooden buckets with freezing cold water that they throw on them. So have this extreme hot and cold change. Then they're socializing and they're eating and drinking, and then they are repeating this process for a couple of hours. So it's a combination of socializing and getting the benefits of this treatment, which is actually fantastic. I felt myself after 3 hours, like maybe was to sleep. It was extraordinary experience. It's amazing. So we kind of copied in our more luxury environment in Cyprus. So we include treatment beds and nice sitting area and the traditional Russian banya sauna with a cold plunge pool, which is 10 degrees cold. The water, so actually going from 100 degrees warm environment to 10 degrees cold environment, which is actually quite refreshing.
Yeah, you have to be brave.
And it's actually it's getting more popular. With the months, we do have, and not only to the Russians.
Yeah, no, a lot of people are getting into it. And I was just saying, this has been driven a lot through the hot and cold, helping our health, preventative health, and with immunity, you know, really helping us with immunity. In fact, that thing I posted in the nutrition group, there are studies going on, and they're saying that they have found now, they're doing studies now, people have known for many years, but now they're actually studying it, and saying that this exposure to extreme hot and cold really keeps our immunity much higher than it would ordinarily. So this is this whole banya experience. I was actually quite surprised to see this here, but it is, and as Paris says, it's extraordinary. And when I was doing it, they also have this treatment. Do you have that here with the sticks?
Yes, we call it the Venic massage. So
Venic massage
is a bundle of leaves.
Leaves, yeah.
Oak or beech.
Yeah.
We do have actually different, both they are anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, so it helps us to remove the toxins. Oak, it's a very nice smell. It's like eucalyptus a bit, so
Yeah.
it's good for respiratory as well. Birch has vitamin C as well, which is very, very good for the skin. It's actually, you know, it's like a massage.
Massage. They're not actually beating you up. You're lying in the sauna, and they come with the birch leaves and all the oak leaves, and they basically tapping you all over your body, and they're moving the hot air around. But it's kind of, it helps your circulation. It helps detoxify too. It's actually quite an interesting experience. When I was in the one in London, and now Paris says it's a place to go and socialize, there were people being really loud in the sauna, and I complained. I was like, you're making too much noise, be quiet. I'm here to relax. And they looked at me like I was mad. But now you know, obviously I should have done that. And then you go out and you have something healthy. Like they're very into cultured foods like sauerkraut and kombucha. They drink a lot of kombucha, this kind of this type of food. So it's interesting. Anyway, we thought we would touch on that and tell you about the Russian banyas. So wherever you are, have a think about the Russian banyas, and if you ever come here, you got to try it out. It's like really cool. I'm going to do it.
For us, it's a unique thing.
Yeah, it's very unique. It's quite unique, actually, for Cyprus to have a Russian banya. And then finally, before we sign off for this evening, I do want to cover this because we mentioned it with Laura when she did the essential oils event for us. So Laura is actually suffering from cancer, as you know, and she has, you know, she's made it her life's work to be able to offer therapies and treatments to people who are suffering from cancer or are, you know, cancer recovery, because there's a lot of treatment houses or places you go, they don't want to touch you and they're scared about it and everything else. And so Paris told me that here they do something, they've worked with a specific brand who have a great initiative called Wellness for Cancer. And I know the lady who runs Wellness for Cancer, she's an American lady, Julie Bach, who lost both her parents actually from cancer, and made it her life's work to be able to offer treatments and therapy for people who are going through cancer, because everyone needs that. Everyone needs that touch.
It's the power of touch.
It's the power of touch. So Kaylee's been trained in this, so I just want her to share that too. We're jumping around a little bit today, but I think it's just nice. We've got the expertise here, so it's nice to be able to share. Thank you, Kaylee. So you want to talk about a little bit about that?
So where to start? Wellness for Cancer, they teamed up with many brands. I was trained with the brand that I use with Biologique Recherche. So basically what Wellness for Cancer, what Julie does is she collaborates with Biologique, and they see the treatments that we offer and the products that we offer and how we can adapt it for being in treatment. I know that there is that controversy. It's always been like that. You might do this. There's nothing saying you're not gonna.
Yeah.
When I went through the training, it's not about doing a deep tissue the same way it's about touch and the levels of touch. It is different, but it's just being able to have that connection with them as well. You do notice the difference with people that maybe they're going through treatment, and you have to adapt it as well. Their skin's different. So we use something that's more hydrating. We need to feed the skin as they're going through treatment. Feeling very tired, just touching makes them relax. And then guests that we have that are in remission, we need to feed the skin again. We need to. It's a very for me it was a very rewarding training. It made me fall in love with my job all over again.
Just how much you can help
because
people going through that.
And my training was with ladies that are just being diagnosed, going through treatment and terminal. That was my training.
Wow.
So it was all aspects.
And then also people in remission as well, helping them build back up. Yeah.
Even, like it's amazing. And my trainer, she lost her sister to cancer. So it was such a amazing training.
Emotive training, And I think it's really, like I say, it's a little bit of a side subject today, but I feel like it's partly my job when I come across professionals who are actually training in this and talking, being trained and being able to help people going through certain conditions, that it's my responsibility to share that just because someone has cancer, is in remission, or has just been through treatment, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't be touched. And the power of touch is so important and therapeutic and healing, just to put, and even if it's just people or friends or whatever, just put your arms around them and touch them. It's just such an important thing to do, as the power of touch. Anyway, I keep on going on about the power of touch.
But it really it's like the slogan of Wellness for Cancer is the best.
Touch. So thank you, Caitlin.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So I just wanted to share that, and that there are places to go to have treatments, and even if you're in the UK, you can ask for that. You can always reach out to me. I can, try and find places if we're not already working with them. And then overseas, if anyone wants that advice, or have friends who want that advice, or whatever it is. So I just wanted to share that before we sign off. But is there does anyone have any other questions or comments or anything?
I'm just wondering, the concept being a thalassotherapy unit, do they have any seaweed baths? Actual genuine seaweed?
Oh, where you actually get into the seaweed.
Yep, I have. Yep. It's blocks of seaweed. Yeah, it's not the tidiest thing, because it's quite slimy.
It's brilliant for your skin.
Yeah. Because you have the micronized marine algae, it's just a little bit more pleasant for you, because the seaweed actually
sticks to you.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, here in the west of Ireland, people will get wheelbarrows of seaweed and put them into the baths.
Last year I was using a brand called Voya.
Yeah, that's my brand.
Yeah. And they have the lazy days, the blocks of seaweed with the
Do you do that? Do you take the seaweed?
Yes.
Yeah, they have it as
you live by the sea, right? So
I do, yes, but it is a big part of it is a big thing here in the west of Ireland, well, around. But I mean, there are people, I know that there was one spa I was in, and the husband went to a local beach every day and got wheelbarrows of seaweed, genuine particular seaweed, and he would bring it and it would be put in baths. It was quite clinical place, but it was, it was perfect. But like, for instance, when you were talking about Wim Hof, one of the things is that one of the consultants here in the hospital in Galway told me that the people who swim 365, throughout the winter, it's marked in their charts because they're greater survivors.
Yeah.
And because of what the sea does for them, So
the sea is very tough.
Yeah, there are a number of people, including as well as Voya, who are, they're kind of now. There's a company who's kind of parking up hot tubs on beaches filled with seaweed, so you can get into these hot tubs. Not great during a pandemic, but I mean the kind of merits of actual hot seaweed baths is phenomenal. You know,
incredible. Okay, so the other brand, because we touched
Voya.
Salgo, but you can buy this also in the UK, is Voya. Oh no, sorry, I spelled them. V-O-Y-A.
Voya.
Yeah, Voya. They're another marine-based brand which is available. You can buy that and use it in your bath.
Yeah, it comes in like a box. Just a tip: you don't. It's not just one use. Just put it in like an IKEA bag and then reuse it, because it's vacuum packed. Once you've soaked it up, because you're using it for home use, you can do it at least twice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice tip there. So it seems so Lorraine is a big advocate of the sea because she lives right by there, and I know she swims in the freezing cold in
3 degrees.
It's
the coldest
freezing.
this year.
Oh my goodness, I'm not that brave yet. But those of us who are more city dwellers, we can access these products. Yeah, that's good. That's wonderful. Wow, thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. It's something a bit different today. And yeah, come over, Paris.
It was very nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
If you ever come here, ask for this lady, Kaylee.
Thank you, Hayley.
Thank you.
And Paris, I want to thank you. Thank you for opening this up for us. We're in one of his beautiful spa suites today. And I haven't had a spa treatment yet, so I can't wait till tomorrow. Thank you for hosting this event. It's really lovely to be here and learn more about seawater treatments. And thank you all, lovely ladies, for being here with us again.